what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good?
Let's talk about this. Warren Buffett triples his stake in Ally. Shout out to Ally. And sells Verizon. Should we follow the same strategy?
All right.
Yes.
You say yes. I'm gonna let me give him some background as to why. And shout out to Ally. I'm just give him some information about Ally. All right. So Ally Financial, the largest direct-to-consumer digital bank in the United States. No branches, right? Digital bank. It's mainly in auto lending business, but also has big mortgage portfolio, originates personal credit cards, and point of sale loans. Also, all right, it has an insurance business and online brokerage and wealth management division with close to 17 billion in client assets. And so, why is the big auto piece important? Well, we saw during the pandemic what shoot up? Auto sales, right? The new cars and used cars. And so obviously that helps the business. In addition to that, they also have, rewards for shareholders. They have a great dividend. And so these are some of the things. I'm not saying this is why Warren Buffett did it. And I know it's not a huge part of his portfolio for Berkshire Hathaway, but it is a piece. And so those are some of the key factors that people weren't familiar with Ally and what they do. Go ahead, Ian.
And the risk is relatively low. And to think that like the high early this year was 52, it only came down to 32. Very low risk. And I'm not saying this because they're sponsored. Like I was using Ally before in 2008, but they are one of the few companies that take care of their customer base. And it may be a slower build, but over time, you're going to see more companies, especially during a recession. The customer care part and what you deliver is going to matter a hell of a lot more. I think Ally is an amazing company, and especially if interest rates remain high, banking is a place where you can park money and get an easy gain. So I'm sure he's looking at that. If he piled in at $33, I mean, I have Ally going to 47 by January of next year. That's a pretty solid return. You need safe returns.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, because the safe returns will then allow you to get the monster gains that you want. What hurts most of us is we try and go for a 500% gain and then lose 200%, and then we quit investing. Like get a base hit first, then begin to go for home runs, so you guys will be okay.
Yeah, all the analysts have pretty much said the same thing that you just said. That the risk reward is so low. It's a safe investment, which obviously Berkshire makes sure that they're going to have great returns on anything that they invest in. So probably reasons why.
Do I sound crazy, or just most people who talk about investing and trading don't know what they're talking about?
Well, I think he said. I think what he was referring to was when you actually respond to people in the comments.
Oh, you gotta do a little straightening once in a while. Diplomatically, but you got to do you can't let people say whatever they want to. Like the customer is not always right, and neither is the audience. Once again, social media is a digital orphanage for lost souls. People are arguing with you, for all my business owners, because at some point something in their life is not going well. But that's why Red Panda, I try to make sure, and especially when we're out, my friends always like, "Yo, man, we can't stop." But I'm like, I've learned. Big lesson from Tupac, going back to Above the Rim. He was always like, I can't tell a fan no if they want to say hi. It may be their first and last time seeing me. These are the people that help prop me up. Who am I to not stop and say hi to them? Team got to pull me away. But if people are talking negatively about you, you got to address it.
But I feel like Instagram is so crazy, like especially a lot of the men on Instagram. It's like even like us, like people, they'll make up stories. People will be like, you could pay to get on Earn Your Leisure. And then it comes out that nobody has ever paid to come on Earn Your Leisure. They're not going to correct it. They're not going to say, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
That's not true. So it's like they're saying, it's like you could just say anything. Like people say stuff about Nipsey Hussle. Mm-hmm. It never came out that it was true. But the fact that you even said it, somebody's going to believe that it is true. You're not going to come back and say that, oh, I lied about this. Oh, it's not. When there's no proof that it'll ever happen. Nobody will ever come forward to corroborate the story.
Yeah.
You could just say anything, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, unfortunately, it says a lot about the times that we're in. Mm-hmm. But what can you do? So it's like, the internet is a place where you can say anything because there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions for what you say. And it gives you freedom to just, vent. It's like therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could just say the most craziest things in the world. You could say like, oh, your grandmother stole $5 from me. Like, it's not true, but you can say it. There's no police that's going to stop you from doing it. And there's nobody's ever going to see you in real life. Nobody even knows who you are. So especially on YouTube. YouTube has become very toxic in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
But once again, it says a lot about the times that we're in.
Two big lessons that I want business owners to take away from this. At some point, you do have to get big enough to not reply. Because the thing I didn't know, people was using this as like campaigns to roll their stuff out. So when I was like, oh, I'm the only idiot that's replying, that's helping the rollout.
Exactly.
Corey, like, what are you doing? They're setting you up every time. I'm like, I didn't know. I thought they really didn't like me. Okay, cool. But also too, like a coward can get courage if you don't reply, and people will believe a lie much quicker than they will the truth. So you have to learn how to address it without giving someone else traction on top of it. So it's layer, it's nuance. Like, I'm not perfect at it. My thing is like, Charlamagne had a good quote that I think he said he learned from Wendy, like, you can either be of the people or be of the industry. I'm gonna always pick to be of the people. So whether people may not like, some of the stuff that I say and how I reply, I'm like, when it comes to these prices, nobody fucking with me on that.
Period.
Pick your core thing.
Focus on the light, gentlemen. Focus on the light.
Period.
Focus on the light.
All right. Let's talk about
one city at a time. Can we do 3 cities at once? I'm not.
Oh man.
Picture me what I gotta say.
Apple plans to expand its advertising business, including placing ads inside of Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
How will this affect other tech companies?
Snapchat's in trouble. Meta.
I was waiting for you to
make some adjustments.
I was waiting for you to say.
Shout out to the Meta family. Love you. I quit. I
was waiting for you to say it. Yep.
And this is why I say, like, you cannot be every business owner. Please write this down. You cannot be dependent on one source of anything, because if it goes away, you're in trouble. So now they've watched the ecosystem for the App Store grow, and I'm sure they're saying, okay, great. Now we have baseball on Friday nights. We have a lot of shows coming out. Why don't we just put our own advertising on top of it? And now, since we're going through a recession, we've seen Netflix adjust, Hulu's adjusting with the ad model, so is Disney. Now it's Apple's time to squeeze in a little bit more profit by having ads on their platform. And then if they can lower the price for the consumer won't mind, because now you get more of a deal on the shows that you're watching. So, but Snap in trouble, Twitter definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
And I hate to say Twitter in maybe by 2028, Twitter will be dead. Twitter will be dead.
Yeah. So for those not in the know, the advertising business for Apple generates $4 billion annually. $4 billion. It's like one of those things that nobody even thinks of. $4 billion annually in ad space. But this is something that was pretty unique. And they did this. And if you have an iPhone, they had the privacy features, that app tracking transparency, which, like, when they ask you, do you want the app to follow you, and you could allow once, allow only in this app. So a lot of companies made money off of that, because before they had the transparency, they could advertise to you in any way they want. But now Apple's saying, like, look, we're going to, obviously, when people have to choose, most people, and they've taken the data to show, most people say, no, I don't want this. I don't want them to follow me. But what they're not telling you is that Apple has the data, right? They're not letting other people get the data, but Apple has the data. And so now
they shouldn't,
right? They have it. So now they have the opportunity to directly put ads as well in their space. And so one of the things they're looking at is, like, where's the next growth from Apple? Where can they go? What part of the business can grow? And so nobody's looking at it, but like 4 billion can turn into 8, right? So they're saying over the next 12 months, they see a 20% growth in the ad business, which is incredible. Like, most people are not even thinking about Amazon not Amazon, Apple when it comes to ads. We're thinking about the products and services, but, like, this is $1 billion business in itself. So
and with having all that data over the years from other people advertising on the platform, seeing what call to actions work, seeing what branding campaigns work, they can make it seamless where it does not. I mean, they haven't even done a bunch of product placement on their shows yet and integrated them in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of money there. And if they're the biggest player, biggest ecosystem, that ad business in maybe 10 years should be $20-30 billion a year alone if they have a premium product.
Yeah. And add that to the 92 billion in the war chest. I mean,
I keep saying, yeah.
What can they not do?
Plus, they're still partners with Google.
Yep.
So they have friendly cooperation there. So if they team up and get upset enough and just say, let's just put Twitter and Snap out of business, and they work closely together for the next year, they can wrap the entire ecosystem up and say, now you just advertise on these two platforms. It's going to be interesting because now in a recession, and business owners and entrepreneurs, write this down. In a recession, it is a time for you to put your competition out of business. You have to outspend, outmarket, outgive, outstrategize, because now when spending is being crunched down and there's limited attention, now that's when you're going for a kill shot. You don't expend all your energy when everyone has capital flowing. That's why you see, like, if you look in every recession, there's usually a bunch of acquisitions or company goes out of business. Like if you think that Washington Mutual went under in 2008 just because it could have been acquired, but the powers that be didn't want to save Bear Stearns in them. Bank of America played ball with Warren. He got preferred shares. That's why Warren Buffett did a JP Morgan-like move and was able to get shares in that and to be able to save it. But like during a recession, it is your time to attack incredibly aggressive to solidify yourself for the next 10 or 15 years.
Very true. Okay. Elon Musk sells $6 billion worth of Tesla stock.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. What's the deal with that?
Just in case, if I don't see how it would happen, but if they force him to buy Twitter, which would be like a travesty, honestly. But as a result, Tesla went up. Like same thing when they kicked Vince McMahon out of WWE, shares popped up. So it was interesting to see him selling off those shares and then Tesla rising as a result. I don't think they will make him buy it, but he has to get prepared just in case. It is a good lesson, however, and whatever promises that you make contractually, you have to be prepared to pay them. Yeah. So at first it was a joke and well played for some of the trolling and marketing factors, but legally that has to suck to liquidate that much. But Tesla's doing pretty good. It's at 927.96.
Yeah, crossover 900.
Yeah, it should be at 1041 in a couple weeks. By end of the year, it could be back at 1203. They're good.
Yeah, I think it's just cautionary. I think he's preparing in the event that, I think the litigation it's starting pretty soon, right? October or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, if the ruling doesn't go in his favor, you got to be prepared to now purchase a company that you originally didn't want and then wanted. And so I just precautionary. Yeah, it's one thing. Cool, put $7 billion on the side.
One thing I can say for sure, if he worked out an arrangement with all them baby mamas, I'm sure he's gonna find a way to work his way to not have to pay up $7 billion for Twitter. Boy, finesse God. Whew. Kudos to Elon.
Finesse.
These were hot takes by Ian Dunlap.
Elon, he's working on population control. That's what he said.
That was his tweet.
Yeah,
he's funny enough.
About to populate the world. Him and Nick Cannon. Shout out to Nick Cannon.
Amazing. He looked us in the face and said he was done.
We got a couple bombs we can drop.
Nah, bro. We looked us in the face and said, I'm done.
Having kids?
Yeah. Remember he was like, I'm done. That's it, bro.
Changed his mind. Well, I think they was probably already pregnant at that time.
It had to be, right? Yeah. So he wasn't telling the truth. He's done after that.
Shout out to Nick Cannon. Great guy.
Nick a good dude,
Can't stop, won't stop. Bad boy.
Great guy. I mean, if you could take care of the kids and you could take care of the mothers, why not?
Yeah. What's that, 9? Is that 9 now?
Yeah. I think so.
Calipari?
Kudos to him. They deserve a holiday. I need a staff of 80 to take care of 9 kids, boy.
This that. Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?